Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast presented by BuddiesProShop.com. And we've got a recap of the USBC Masters and the US Open. But a couple weeks ago, we announced that we were going to do a giveaway from the state tournament, and we want to waste no time and announce those winners.
Yeah, it was a good day. So we had a slight change of plans. We had some unforeseen circumstances that happened, but we only hold a team event.
Yeah.
So without further ado, so why don't you explain how we modified the contest, Justin?
So it was modified and tweaked so since Dad only bowled his 3 games in team, we multiplied his team score by 3 to get the all-event score, 9-game total. Mm-hmm. And that would determine our winner for that. And I believe that the other 2 were still good. One being who would win, who would have the higher series between Mike Val and my dad. And you want to share those results?
Yeah. So our team it was a 5-person team, 3 games. We bowled all right. We left some pins out there. It wasn't our best showing, but we bowled 33-59 for our event for our squad, which wasn't bad. 33-59 is not that bad. We left some pins out there, but it was a respectable number. And then in the grudge match between the Hall of Famer and the wannabe Hall of Famer, I did sneak out the victory. By 3. In a true battle of the Titans, my 652 to Parker's 649 wasn't our best showing, but I did bring home the W. So that's the results for that. So we will take Parker's 649.
And we will multiply by
3. And I'd have my nifty calculator here. So 649 by 3.
1947.
Correct. So 1947 we're going to give Dad for his all events total, just because we had to make some modifications.
Correct.
So you have the winners?
We are going to announce those winners. The first winner being Frank Schultz. He will have first choice as to which item he wants between the Bowl for Life tumbler, any one of the Team Bohn merch T-shirts, and a Bowl for Life sign or a BuddiesProShop.com signed chamois by the BuddiesProShop.com pro staff. We will message you on Facebook, and we will get in touch with you and let you know how you can win, because you've already won.
He is the winner.
And then our second winner is actually our second and our third winner. He had the what did he have? The 9-game total.
He had the 9-game total.
And the winner between the grudge match, Mike Val versus Parker Bohn.
Correct.
And that winner is Scott Lillis. Scott, you will get 2 of the 3 items. Frank will have first choice, and you will get whatever 2 he doesn't pick.
Yeah, he'll get the leftovers.
Yes. So congrats to everybody. Thank you guys for joining us in our giveaway. And
we'll have more giveaways like that. We'll have more like guess the scores as the year goes on. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's different. It's different. So before we get into the recaps of everything, there is some stuff going on in the bowling world.
All right.
How about no PBA league this year?
Yeah, you're right. That
that
happened
hurts.
while we were gone.
Yeah, that's a blow. I like that. I love that format. I think it's a great idea. Hopefully, well, they said they're going to bring it back for 22, and maybe
I don't disagree with that. I mean, it obviously sucks that there's no PBA league, but the PBA league is what it is because of the fans at Bayside Bowl, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2022, they said that they would be going back to Bayside. So I do agree with that, and it sucks that they're not having one at all this year like they did in Virginia last year. But PBA's got a lot of exciting stuff going on. So
they do, and maybe no, and maybe next year, they'll add some new teams and maybe another women's team or two, and maybe that PBA 50 team we've been trying to save for the past year or so. We'll miss it, but we know it is not going to be going anywhere. It'll be back in a year, better than ever.
Absolutely.
Then I want to get this one out first.
Go ahead.
And I know this is the big thing that we'll talk about when we talk about the U.S. Open, and obviously I think the biggest thing we'll take from the U.S. Open was Nair making the 710 on TV, right? I think that was probably the highlight of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my gripe with that. So on Monday morning, listening to Sirius Radio, there was a thing on there. What's harder to do, a hole-in-one in golf or make the 710, right?
Okay.
And that got the 710 conversion got publicity on Sirius, on ESPN, on all the major sports outlets, right?
Sports Center, it was Sports Center Top 10, USA Today, tons of coverage.
Correct, which is great. Here's what pisses me off about that. Okay, why is it that they're only going to focus on the spare, right? Not one news outlet, and you know where I'm going with this, right?
Absolutely.
Not one news outlet said, okay, 18-year-old Anthony Nair makes 710 bowling history, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, Chris Vi from wherever he is won the 2021 Bowling US Open. Why did we not get any publicity at all from any of those news outlets? That is a disgrace. I'm sorry. That is just not right, man.
Yeah.
And you knew exactly where I was going with that one.
Yeah, because I'd seen a couple of posts on Facebook about that. Like, it definitely don't get me wrong. Like, having the publicity for bowling was very, very good.
Absolutely.
But I think that it's wrong the way that they did it, and it wasn't about Chris Vi winning the U.S. Open. It was only about Anthony making the 710.
Yeah, and look, the 710 is, it's like somebody walking on water, basically. It's not very common.
We're not taking away anything from anybody.
Absolutely not. But at that point, you should say, and by the way, this was held at Bowling's U.S. Open, which was won by Chris Vi, and he defeated so-and-so.
A couple of the articles said that at like the very end, but all the headlines were Nair makes a 710, bowler makes 710, fourth time in history. Like, it wasn't like Anthony Nair makes a 710 on TV, Chris Vi wins Bowling's U.S. Open. So they were all just
I'm a little confused by that. I don't understand how I'm coming off as a bully there, Justin. I don't understand that. I'm not knocking what Nair did by any means possible. I just think that the news outlets have to give the winner of that tournament. You got to plug the event and the winner.
Right.
You have to do it, and that's just poor news coverage.
They both should be on those news outlets.
Yeah,
we're not trying to say that what Anthony was doing was wrong.
No.
Or what Anthony shouldn't have got as much publicity, or Chris should have gotten more. We're saying that they both should have been the headlines.
Yeah, I agree. And you just got to put that in there, like where it was and by the way, so and so won, 225 to 224, whatever it is, and that's it. Give bowling credit. Nair got us on the front page, right? Which was fantastic. Like Weber got on the front page with the U.S. Open years ago with Carolier when he made his line. Great. And maybe it was different because of Weber, because he actually won the tournament and he did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just say shame on the media for not reporting the results of the tournament.
Correct.
All right, so let's go to the Masters. The Masters was a grind fest this year.
Oh my God! I mean, talk about low scores. Like,
would you say that's the hardest tournament to win?
I would probably agree with that.
I mean, yeah, the U.S. Open is bowling's most prestigious and hardest, but that format is brutal, man.
Yeah, especially like if you're someone like Jason Sterner, who lost in the first match.
Yeah.
And went through and made the TV show.
If you lose your opening match, you get that losers bracket, dude, it is impossible to get out of that thing.
Yeah, it's a long road ahead of you and a long couple of days of bowling, and then a TV show if you make the show.
Absolutely.
But talk about Chris Vi here for a minute, and then we'll get over to Spencer Robars. But Chris Vi making what was like his 4th out of 6 TV shows in the majors, and then would follow it up with the U.S. Open, making it like 5 out of 7, something ridiculous.
Justin, I don't think he's made a normal show. I think every show he's made has been in a major.
Unless it's like the playoffs or the PGA League. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah,
in a singles event, I think he's only made them in the majors.
Yeah, but I mean, he's tough and he's good when they're brutal.
Yes,
and he's good in those really longer formats, and he's proven it over the last couple of majors, and really
100%.
really making a name for himself. But let's talk about 18-year-old Spencer Robars here, and this kid, we had him on the show not that long ago for winning the PBA Junior National Championship, and this 18-year-old made the TV show at the Masters. Bravo! I mean, absolutely unreal showing. Unreal week to make the show at the Masters as an 18-year-old, and hats off to him. I mean, just incredible bowling by a youth bowler. Crazy stuff.
And Randy said it best. He goes, the youth is just so far ahead of what it was years ago, and Spencer's just he proved it. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
It is, you would know this more than I would. Is Spencer a urethane guy per se? Meaning, just is that predominantly what he puts in his hand? Is he?
He can throw reactive, but I think he's seemed to throw a little bit more urethane recently. But I mean, it allows him to control it, and you can see what he's doing right now on the show. He's got the angles real straight to the front part of the lane, and at 20 miles an hour with a almost 500 rev rate, if not more, your ball is going to hit hard.
Yeah, and he made them look like it was the league night, basically, at the stadium. I mean, he made him look pretty simple. He really did.
Yeah, and following it up at the U.S. Open, he tied for the last spot at the U.S. Open and then lost in the roll-off. So
yeah, he made a run there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jason Sterner here making his first TV major appearance. And this guy made a statement the last 2 weeks. Also made the show at the U.S. Open. And I think it's just a matter of time before we start to see even more of Jason Sterner. Made 2 shows here, made a show at the World Series. He's a guy that works at his game a lot.
I've said it. He's the hardest working. He's practicing all the time. He's the hardest working guy on tour, I think. He's always practicing.
Yeah.
And
but
I felt
this Masters pattern was absolute. Oh, go ahead.
I felt bad for Sterner.
I felt that he never.
Well, his hand was completely destroyed by the time he got to the show. I mean, you saw what his thumb looked like. His hand his thumb. Yeah, his hand looked like a piece of chopped meat. So I don't want to say he wasn't, but I don't think Sterner was 100% on the telecast, because that your hand is what you need. So if that hand's not 100%, you're not going to be 100%. Make sense?
Talking about, yeah, I agree. But I mean, this Masters pattern was
brutal.
I mean, it was very rare to see both guys in the same match bowl over 700. I mean,
yeah, and
there are matches that would be won with 550.
That's what I was just going to say. How many matches?
We're talking about the best bowlers in the world.
Yeah, how many matches did you see with 550 to 540, or some guys bowling 490 and sneaking by? I mean, they were impossible. I think Duke was the only one that really put up some
Spencer's
decent
first
numbers.
Two matches were both under 500.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, just absolutely filthy.
Yeah, Thomas Larson actually had a pretty. Yeah, I think Thomas had the best overall look of the tournament.
100%. 100%.
That's why I won it. That's why I won it.
Yeah.
This is very who you bowl. This tournament, the Masters, is always just who you match up with, and there are some matches that are going to be won with. Yeah, that's what it is. And Jesper, he said it in an interview with Flow Bowling that he really grinded his way through the matches. Thomas Larson had a couple of matches. He had a couple of matches he bowled over 650, 680, 700 a couple of times. So I think that Thomas it just came down to who won that last match as the number one seed, but I don't know that really showed who had the best run in the bracket, my opinion.
I've been saying this for years, Justin, and see if you agree with me on this one, right? The Masters is a double elimination tournament, right?
Yeah, well, I just want to talk about this match real quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was pretty close. And we'll get to your point in a second here, but Aaron shot it from Spencer missing the head pin. But that happened more than once throughout the week with as hard as the pattern was. But Thomas now needs just a mark in the 10th. I mean, he's got a pretty sizable lead. Gets this one right, gets it quick, leaves in the 2-8-10, right? Now he only needs one. He needs one, one of the three. One of the three.
He was lucky to get one of the three.
To bowl for the
a little bit slow on the delay here.
Way right, barely gets the one.
Yeah, he was lucky to get one.
I mean, yeah.
But Larson he's tough, man. He is a real good player. He's a shot maker. He really is a shot maker.
Got one. Correct. I mean, Spencer had a couple of Aaron shots that if he just made one or two of them just a hair better, I mean, even if he got 8 or 9.
Yeah. Do you think the nerves were playing into Spencer a little bit?
Yeah. I wouldn't ever think of him really being that grinder when they're super hard. He said it. He's maybe a little once he got. It is very possible, but
okay. No, that's
what I would say. And it looks like Jesper just really never got comfortable. And
no, I have a Spencer,
okay. Yeah, back to your thought.
No, I have a Spencer question before we go to my thought. So Randy mentioned this on the show, right? So you can only max out a smart account at 100K.
Oh,
is that right?
No.
Randy said something about that on the telecast.
I haven't heard that.
You can, yeah, and I never heard that either. That you can, the smart account max is at 100,000, and he was saying how much money Spencer has won through his career so far. Well, if he was to win the Masters, 100K for the Masters. So what happens at that point? I would love to find that out. We have to look into that. That's what I would love to find out.
What the money would have been after. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here was my point, what I was trying to say before. And I've been saying this for years, right? Double elimination format at the Masters, right?
Yep.
Don't you think that the tournament leader should lose twice on the show?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, I never understood that. So, like, Jesper loses in the match, right? I think Larson should have to beat him twice. And that was his second shot on the 10th. That first shot Thomas Larson threw in the 10th, you couldn't have walked down the lane and put it there any better than he did.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely good. And now now Jesper needs all 3 in the 10th to win. Doesn't throw it too bad, leaving the flat 7, and Larson wins on the deck. And I mean, that was the kind of scoring pace that was going on the whole tournament. I mean, 180 to 190. I mean, you see these guys really grinded to win this tournament. Yeah. And Thomas Larson ends up winning his first major and first on U.S. soil.
Good for him. How does Jesper's ball ever flat 7 is what I want to know. Like, how does that ever happen?
I have no idea. I mean, a guy with that high of a rev rate, Randy said all the time, who throws it that hard with that high of a rev rate, his ball should never do that.
Remember that 7-9 he left in the previous one of the other tournaments? He flat 7-9.
Yeah,
I think that was in the regional finals.
Yeah, and it ended up costing him.
Yes, it did. So the Masters, pure grind fest.
Absolutely, this year was pure grind fest, and it's cool to see some newer guys make some big runs. Yeah.
Now let's fast forward a week and go to, I don't want to say a strike fest, but a little more user friendly U.S. Open.
Yeah, they changed the format of the U.S. Open a couple of years back to this 4 pattern. They bowl 3 qualifying on 3 different patterns, and then they make a cut for the cashers round. They bowl on a 4th pattern, and then they bowl on that 4th pattern for the 24 games round robin match play. And in years past, it had been only 1-1 for the entire tournament, and where they would bowl on burn and double burn.
Bro, I bowled the Open 2 years at Carolier back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
they were 40 feet 1-1.
Yeah.
You want to talk about impossible on the fret? Oh my God, impossible!
I'm sure
impossible. And you would get your pins on the burn squad, which you had a little bit, but God, that fresh was impossible at 1-1 on the fret on 40 feet, man. Impossible.
Yeah. And they bowled on 1-1 this week on one of the days.
Day 2 was 1-1.
Yeah,
and that's what everybody was saying. Like Buttriff was Butters was like 340 over the first day. He whacked them.
Yeah,
and then it was the joke was get all your pins on day 1. Was day 2 you're going to 1-1.
Right. And
do you like the 4 different patterns for the U.S. Open?
Here's my thought process on that pattern and the balls and all that stuff.
Okay.
You look at youth bowling. The biggest tournament in youth bowling is Junior Gold, right? You're limited to 5 balls. You bowl 5 more games on a 5th pattern that you didn't practice on. 5 more games on a 6th pattern that you didn't practice on. Then they go to the top 16 for match play. You bowl on a 7th pattern that you haven't bowled on. You bowl 16 guys, 2 games total with double elimination match. And then you bowl the TV show on an 8th pattern that you get a little bit of practice for before the TV show. And you never see any of the graphs. And you're limited to 5 balls the whole week.
Really?
Okay. U.S. Open. Yeah. Yep. 5 balls the whole week.
Okay.
Now look at the U.S. Open. They changed the format, I think, to kind of have the same thing, right? With the different patterns in qualifying, different patterns in the finals, limiting the balls, so on and so forth. I think that if they're going to bowl the U.S. Open the way that they did, I don't think that the match play should be on all 1 pattern for the reason of what Chris Vi did. Now I'm not taking anything away from Chris Vi because he made an unreal run in match play to get to the tournament leader. But someone like that who was nowhere to be found in qualifying bowls on this 4th pattern, bowls 8-something the last 3 games of the cashers round to get to the top 24 for match play, and then makes an unreal run, averaging a ridiculous number to get to the show. Someone matches up on that 4th pattern. They've got 32 games on that pattern and 24 games of match play. Yeah.
Exactly. See you later.
I mean, So my opinion is if they're going to bowl on that 4th pattern, it should be the 1-1 pattern. Or
absolutely.
Or you could bowl on the 4th pattern and then match play on block day 1 pattern, day 2 pattern, day 3 pattern.
Did you hear what Randy said on the telecast on Sunday?
That he wasn't a fan of the scores being as high as they were.
all that, and that he said that it reminded him when he walked in the stadium on Saturday night for the final round of match play. He said it reminded him of walking into the bowling center on a Friday night for the final round of match play when he bowled on tour in the 80s and the 90s. And why was that, Justin? What was all 24 finalists using?
Urethane.
You got it. And and you know what? Look, you got to put in your hand what's going to give you the best opportunity to score, right? But
absolutely.
And I get that. But a lot of the casual bowlers, right? Like the 190 to 200 league bowler, they look down on the telecast and they want to see a guy throwing, a GB4 or a Zen, or well, that's what they're going to go buy. If Jason Sterner is throwing a GB4 and he's crowbarring them, well, Joe Smo is going to go to the pro shop and buy a GB4 tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
Or Larson won the Masters throwing a Zen. How many people are going to, wow, that ball looks really good, I'm going to go drill one. I'm going to go buy a Zen.
Right.
Nobody's running to a pro shop to buy a pitch black or a purple hammer or a true motion, right?
Right.
So, and I think that's what Randy was getting at, was that it's kind of hurting the game in a weird way because ball sales are going down, or not going down, but you're not showcasing what the equipment of this generation is.
Yeah, it's hurting the ball companies a little bit.
Yeah. And it's a shame too, with 24 guys all just throwing urethane. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple posts on Facebook. When was the last time we saw a show with all 5 guys using urethane? And
I can't ever think of one.
If it wasn't for Chris Vi, it would have been a retired ball show. Nobody would have been throwing a ball current on the market.
That is true. That is true.
2 guys threw purples. Jacob threw black widow urethane, and Anthony threw a black hammer.
Yep, and forgetting this, Buttriff threw an old retired Columbia ball the first round of qualifying. That was probably 20 years old. Yeah. So, and that's pretty cool thinking about that, knowing you only have 8 balls at the Open and you're putting something that's that old in your arsenal. Yeah. It's like Buttriff knew that was going to work for that one pattern.
Right.
But very interesting. But again, he wasn't happy with the scoring pace either.
Yeah, I think I would like to that's my take on it. I think if you're going to do it like that, not have the rest of the tournament on that one pattern.
Yeah. What did Vi average to lead the field? Was he around 2.25, 230 to lead the tournament?
I
don't know what the number is.
I will check bowl.com right.
Because you never, and that's what Randy was getting at, like, you never saw guys averaging 230 at the U.S. Open. It was never, you never did it, Even when they moved it out of Jersey, like, guys were leading the tournament 214, 213, 215, and you would see games, 210, 220.
I mean, it was dumb.
It was almost like a score fest. I mean, it was. I'm sorry that wasn't the U.S. Open to me. And Randy said it best again. The Masters was more like the U.S. Open.
Averaged 228.
That's what he averaged for the 50 games. Jesus.
And on that third pattern, like you talked about, his low block in match play. His low block in match play was 295 over.
That was his low. That was his low block in match play.
Yeah,
dude, that's
without bonus.
That's sick. That's sick thing. And not taking anything away from him, but it's the U.S. Open, man. Like, you remember when Frankie won the U.S. Open? Was it 2 years ago? How impossible they were. I mean, it's the U.S. Open. It's 56 games of just ready to pull your hair out. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what it should be. They were reversed. But I do think the pattern, in my opinion, the pattern being as high scoring as it was, I think had a little bit to do with the topography of the center.
I agree with that, and I also think the left factor at the stadium came back into play a little bit. I really do.
Yeah, a little. I would agree with that.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not saying it was like it was when it first opened, but the lefties, they made a bigger charge than some of the righties did.
I would agree.
But I will say this really, really quick before we go on to the video. Would you agree with this statement? If they were 1-1 okay, for match play.
Correct.
And the 24 finalists were who they were. Yeah. I would say, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but I don't think Vi would have won the tournament. There would have been one guy I would have taken over the 24, out of the 24, on 1-to-1 that would have won the tournament.
Who would that have been?
Norman Duke. 100%.
Good point. Good point.
I mean, okay. I just think the experience, the shot making on that, and I don't think Norm throws urethane.
No. If he does, I don't see him throw it.
I've never seen him throw it, but he's kind of that guy that can just trick anything he does.
Right.
So, all right, let's get to the recap here.
All right. So, on the stepladder finals at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
Once again, featuring a 18-year-old. 18-year-old in Anthony Nair. So we have back-to-back major shows that now feature an 18-year-old. And my dad said this a couple of years back when we were bowling, just in junior bowling, that those two guys were going to be the two guys to beat. And their names.
Well, he kind of nailed that one on the head.
Spencer Robarge and Anthony Nair.
Yeah, your internet's kind of choppy.
I mean, those are by far.
Give me a heads up.
Yeah.
Your internet's a little choppy, so we're kind of losing you here and there.
Thanks.
Just letting you know.
All right. Well, I'll let you take this one over then.
Well, Christian Acona right here, I like the guy's game. I really do. And I kind of thought by watching match play, the last round of match play, that I thought he would have been the favorite in this match to beat Sterner because his ball shaped a lot better than Jason's did. And to me, it was kind of weird that Sterner was trying to go up the lane a lot more and keep the angles closed in, where Christian he opened up the lane a little bit. And I thought that I thought that Christian was going to I really thought Christian was going to win the first match, and he obviously did. But I thought, look at it. He's kind of like banking the gutter almost. He's getting like 4 or 5 to the lip. And look how good his ball read and shaped, where Sterner looked like he was just trying to force it up the lane for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's just ball speed. I mean, Christian's got real heavy roll, a little bit slower ball speed, and Flash likes to throw it hard. And that's about all that's where I think that came from.
Yeah, but look at this opening match of the U.S. Open, 256. See ya.
Yeah.
Now let's insert Mr. Nair here.
Yeah, first TV show on the PBA tour at 18 years old. Another one, right? I mean, this kid, you're gonna remember his name not only because of him just making the 710. He's gonna be on TV a lot. And so is Spencer Robarge.
Absolutely. And Nair already has his card. Nair already has his card. Right?
Yep.
And Spencer
Nair said school wasn't for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Nair said school wasn't for me and wanted to go bowl out on tour.
Yep. And Spencer will be with you at Wichita next year, right?
Correct.
All right. So we'll see Spencer on tour probably in 3 years, 4 years. Nair's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And if you remember, I predicted Nair to make the show at the Players. I said he was my dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. This kid has it all, and I've had the privilege of having a hamburger with him at your tournament last summer, and he's a good guy. He's a good dude. He really is. Now, Anthony's a good dude. He's good people, and he has bowling in his blood. Totally different game than his father, though.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's kind of like you and your brother to your father, you know?
Yeah, not close.
Yeah, no.
How times change.
Yeah, but Nair has the pedigree of winning, and he has that two-hander shuffle step.
Yeah, he does. He's always had that too. He said that he's had that for a long time.
Was he ever a two-hander, Justin, or was he always, or did he convert to one-handed? Looks like a two-hander.
So he won U12 junior gold when it was in Buffalo in 2014, the first year they had U12.
Okay.
And he was a one-hander. Now, I've seen him bowl two-handed, and it's also pretty impressive.
He can bowl two-handed, right?
He can, yes. But when you watch what he can do one-handed,
I'll forget it.
I mean, yeah, you watch him bowl the U.S. Open. He doesn't need his ball strikes enough.
Yes.
And being left-handed, he really doesn't ever have to move in a whole lot.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, he has probably a 550 rev rate, probably.
Yeah, he can bowl two-handed, and he is pretty good at it. So I don't know if it's just similarities or if he had ever practiced bowling two-handed for a large amount of time, but that's my take on it.
Now let's insert Butters into the third match here. The slender Jacob Buttriff, he is trimming down.
That he is, yeah. And I'll say this: this is Butters' third U.S. Open show in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And he would go on to beat Anthony and bowl for the title for the third time in the last 5 years. But this was the history shot.
Are we going to play this one out here?
Anthony and I are, yeah. Anthony's going to have a whole lot of airtime for this. A whole lot.
You know,
this man was trending on Twitter on Sunday.
He broke the internet.
Trending on Twitter. When was the last time you saw someone? Yeah. When was the last time you saw someone from bowling trend on Twitter?
No, Nair broke the internet. He broke the bowling internet on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely speechless.
Yeah. And it's perfect. The sport needed something like that. Good for him. And it's funny. I was sitting on the couch watching this with Jackie, and I looked over at her. I said, he's making this. I said, there's no doubt in my mind he's making this. Boom, boom, boom. Nutted it.
Yeah. I just got chills watching it again. I mean,
yeah,
insane.
The past three people to make the 710 on TV are left-handed. You know that?
I did know that.
The past three people to make it on TV are left-handed.
Yeah, I was in the bowling center when it happened. That was on the PBA 50 stop, and I might have yelled a little bit. And when people were bowling, sorry if somebody had to back off, but history was made on TV. Sorry,
history was made on TV. It was almost 30 years in the making there.
Yeah, I know. And here we go on to the title match. The story of the last match, besides 7-10, Butters had it all to himself, right?
Yeah.
And tournament leader Chris Vi coming from basically out of nowhere to barely making match play and to running them over in the 24 games to take over the lead of the tournament. Jacob had it basically, I mean, from start to finish, and literally lost it in the last game.
Yeah. Looking at Buttriff's reaction against Anthony, I didn't think there was any way Chris Vi was beating him.
Yeah, I mean,
look, Buttriff had his look.
Yeah. And this was the shot that really hurt Jacob.
Yep. He knew it too.
It's a one-pin match, pretty high scoring. I mean, that one that hurts a little bit. But he gets his count, moves on. And Chris Vi gets up, and now, I mean, it's all in his hands to win this tournament, right?
Yep.
So fills the frame in the ninth and would need a decent count to win, leads to 2-8. Now he's got to make the spare and strike to force Butters to throw all three to tie. So he needed 9 spare strike to win 19-10th, and would leave to 2-8. Strike on the fill ball, and now Butters needs all three to win to tie to win a roll for the U.S. Open. First one pretty good off his hand. Gets a 7 out. Really great shot there from Jacob.
Yep.
Now gets up. Second shot in the 10th. Pretty good as well. Just a hair in. Nasty messenger to the 7. Now needs 1 strike to tie.
Did you think he was throwing it, Justin?
I did.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe how
that. At least I thought he was hitting the pocket, and that shot was right. Clearly not right off. Shot.
That was right in. That was right on like his third step. That was right the entire way. But Chris Vi, your newest green jacket winner.
Yeah, I mean,
and there it is.
I didn't downtown, we'll be sure to get him on and ask him that.
Yeah, we'll get Chris on. So there it is.
But my
Chris Vi,
opinion,
the 21
Jacob, go ahead.
No, there it is. The 21 U.S. Open champion, Chris Vi, for his first title as a major. And now the monkey's off his back. You'll see him. You're going to see him a lot more.
Yeah, it was absolutely only a matter of time. But my opinion about Jacob's 10th frame is, once he got the first two, I didn't think he was doing anything worse than leaving a 7-pin or like a blower 10.
Yeah,
maybe
I agree with you.
I thought he was hitting the pocket. He was getting at least 9, and it was just a matter of if Carey was on his side or not. And
I agree.
Just didn't throw it very good.
No, it happens. Hey, he's human. You know, we're all human, and it shows these guys are human too. So, really quick, how about somebody who's not human, in my opinion?
Go ahead.
Walter Ray.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good. He's good.
Walter can play the game, man.
Yeah, he can. And he proved it at the last PBA 50 stop, the PBA 50 Lightning Strikes Open, winning his 15th PBA 50 Tour title and being the all-time titles leader on the PBA 50 Tour.
How about and you know what's amazing too, dude? Look at the second, and you were down there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
The second round of qualifying, Weber was 420 over for the block.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. How is it possible that he doesn't think he can compete with the kids anymore in those patterns?
I don't know.
That's sick. So let me give you a question.
Go ahead.
So now with the senior tour, the PBA 50 tour, not bowling last year, there were 2 big names last year that were going to graduate to the senior tour. And then obviously they didn't bowl because of COVID, right?
Right.
I'm going to give you a couple guys. Which one goes to the winner's circle first?
Okay.
Brad Angelo.
Okay.
Dino Castillo.
Okay.
Couch.
Okay.
Hoskins. Steve Hoskins.
Okay.
Grandpa Barnes.
Barnes.
You think it's Barnes?
And the reason I say that is because he can still compete on the kids tour and strike a lot.
Barnes made a big run at the U.S. Open too this week.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I just think because he's still at the highest level and doing it full time.
You don't think Couch can compete when the left is a little soft because of his
I agree.
rate still?
I would agree with that. Yeah. But my opinion is that Barnes is going to be the first out of the guys that you listed for the reason that he still competes at the highest level on the national tour.
That is true. He does. Yeah. So. Barnes still has that. His hand. He can do so many things with a bowling ball.
Yeah.
But do you think Barnes goes to the winner's circle this year, or does it take him a year to go to the winner's circle?
I think that just depends on how many events he bowls. I mean, if he bowls the rest of the season, I think he's going to win.
Dude, that PBA 50 tour is loaded.
It is now.
It is loaded.
Yeah.
And for every Hall of Famer or multi-titleist from the national tour that's on the senior tour, there's like 3 guys that you don't really know of. Like, I'll give you an example. How good is Lenny Borsch?
Oh my God, I know. He's good.
How good is Lenny Borsch? I mean, you never heard of this guy because he's not a PBA Hall of Famer. How good is Lenny Borsch? He's a USBC
good.
Hall of Famer. Oh, it's fantastic. Paul Fleming is another one.
Yeah, Ron Moore.
Paul, you probably saw him down in Florida. Paul Kaler is another one.
Yep. Really.
I mean, there is a ton of good. Mike Diaz. Mike Diaz, the lefty. I mean, there is a ton of talent on the PBA 50 tour.
Michael Haugen.
Haugen was a household name, but yeah, he's another one. How about my buddy, my dear friend Amleto whacked him the first day in Florida.
That he did. He whacked him in qualifying. Yeah.
Did he lead qualifying in Lightning Strikes or no?
I think he was in the top 8. I know that after qualifying.
Yeah, what Weber was leading with, I think somebody snapped off Weber for qualifying.
Yeah, Michael Haugen led the tournament.
It was Haugen.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. When you have to throw the ball straight outside the first arrow, dude, Haugen's tough. Haugen is tough from right of 5.
Yeah, I said to Dad, I don't really remember his ball striking that much on tour for a long amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's won on tour before.
Yep.
But out here on the PBA 50 tour, his ball strikes a lot.
What's the ratio they bowl on? Is it like 2-1?
I don't think so. I don't think that the scores are that high, being as low as 2-1. In my opinion.
You think it's a little bit more?
I think so. I think it's closer to 3, maybe 4.
Wow. So you're giving those guys like almost 3 boards at the spot, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's at least the pattern that they bowled on this week. I don't think all of them are that way, but I think the pattern that they bowled on this week is. I mean, for 32 guys over 50 to go plus 300 for 14 games.
That's sick.
Think about that.
And Dad was the number this week, right?
Yep, plus 300.
That's nuts, dude. 300 over, you're the number.
Yeah.
Was that the cashing number, or they cashed more than 30?
Oh, they cashed like 47.
Okay.
Like 1 and 3. Yep.
Not counting the super senior.
Right.
Now, did Walter at all that you saw go to 2-handed or no?
No.
That's incredible.
I think when they moved in, they got a little tricky. So I think he just stayed right and was good at kept doing what he was good at.
And this was career title. Is he at 120 yet, or he's still in the teens?
If he's not at 120, he's pretty damn close.
He's in the round of 8 now. I just saw there's a video on Facebook he posted. I guess there's a regional down in Florida.
Yep. Yeah.
He's in the round of 8 down there now. He was bowling a lefty. I don't remember the guy's name, but
Bruce Hall.
That's the guy. Yep. He was wearing a headband.
Yep.
And Tom Baker is bowling next to him. So there's a guy who's been around forever. Baker is still competing. Yeah, there's a lot of good guys out there. But before we continue to ramble on too much, I think we should wrap this one up, Mike. Yeah, we're gonna be back. We do have a live show on Fox this weekend. That one's kind of interesting. The Super Slam. The Super Slam. So why don't you tell everybody what the Super Slam is? The 5 major winners from the season will be bowling a specialty event for $100,000 in Virginia, I believe, and then the PBA playoffs start the 24th in Connecticut. So we will see. It's Troop, Frankie, Tom Doherty, Tampa Tom, Thomas Larson, and Chris Fye. What do you like? We have 2 one-handers, a no thumber, and 2 two-handers. I like Kyle. Kyle's been bowling really good all season. I was I think the same thing. Now, does this count as a title or no? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just it's more money. Invitational, basically. Yeah, I think so. And what's the format for it? It's not a step ladder. Like, how does this work? Do you know how this works? I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea. So what? Okay. So what's after this? They're on a little bit of a break after this, right? After the playoffs, yes. Yeah, the playoffs. And Belmo will not be in Connecticut for the playoffs. We learned that on Sunday as well. Correct. Congratulations to Belmo on expecting the birth of his 4th child down in Australia. So congratulations to the Belmontes. Yes. You know, Justin, he's quarantining right now. Oh yeah. You know, we could get Belmo back on to talk to him for a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure we could do that while he's stuck in a hotel. Yeah, I mean, he has nothing else to do. I love Belmonte doing the commentary on Fox. I thought he was awesome. Yeah, in the booth, he was fantastic. He was fantastic. But we'll be back, I guess, maybe next week. Yeah. Oh, so letting you know what the format is. So 5 winners of the tour majors will bowl 1 game to determine seeding for a bracket style finale. The bowler with the lowest score of the seeding round will be eliminated. The remaining 4 bowlers will be placed into a single elimination
matches based on their seeding scores, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Winners advance to the Super Slam Championship. The number 1 seed will have choice of bowling first or second match of the day.
And will all that be live, or this is done?
Yeah, it's live.
It's all live. Okay.
Yep, live Sunday at 12:30.
On FS1 or on Fox? Probably FS1, right? Yeah, probably.
Live on Fox is what it says.
All right. Well, I like Troop. I like Troop. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean he's had an amazing season so far, and yeah, it will be on Fox at 12:30.
I like Troop, but for the money, Frankie's tough for those 6-figure paychecks.
You got that right.
So we will recap this next week, and we'll whatever else is going on in the bowling world, we'll talk about next week as well.
Yeah, and we will see you next time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And
don't forget to visit buddysproshop.com for all your needs. Zone 5 will save you
Zone 5 off.
Zone 5 off. Sorry. 5% off. And really quick, let's wish you finally 18. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
It was Justin's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Justin. You are finally 18, and hopefully we get to bowl in some kind of an adult event before you go to Wichita in the summer.
You got one weekend.
I'll
let you know the weekend later, and we'll figure that out. But
all right, guys. Until then,
so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.